Boy, oh boy, the news with behavior lately just doesn't seem to stop. Surprisingly, we have some, well, depending on how you look at it, either good or stupid news, and then we have some, again, depending on how you want to look at it, decent or good news. Because the problem is with behavior, the only time you're going to really believe when they say something is when they do it. Now, for those of you who don't know, um, that bar on the offering screen, that like piece of scaffolding or whatever. People on the internet name that gym, and basically, people were joking that behavior would turn gym into a in-game badge. Well, joke no more, cause here it is. Everyone, well, supposedly everyone has it for free, and a few people pointed out that although it's meant to be a joke, this is like literally a forever stamp of behavior's incompetence because literally something as minor as a piece of scaffolding on the offering screen, it took them almost a month to fix. And they probably wouldn't have fixed it if people weren't just, angry about the entire Walking Dead patch in general. So, again, depending on how you want to view it. But here's the more important part. Now you see behavior, they decided to actually postpone content like I said they should in the last video. Seems they're actually kind of starting to listen to the community, hopefully. Again, it's one of those believe it when I see it situations, but they actually released a new roadmap and they've actually postponed content, like new ready to release content or soon to release content by about 2 to 3 months, which I think is a good idea personally. And apparently, they also are planning on implementing the whole phase two anti slug, anti tunnel bullcrap, which I have no idea how they plan on doing that. If they screw that up, killers are just going to stop playing the game, like overall. The only the only thing that really makes older killers viable is those strategies tunneling, uh, not really camping, but proxy camping, keeping an eye on the hook at most times, and slugging. Because there are times where, especially with the current gen speeds, even not against a Swift, if you go against survivors who are even remotely competent, they're gonna prioritize the generators over their teammates, right? Unless, there's like two or three teammates down. But even when you go against all solos, like I just said, if they have even a modicum of sense, they're going to do the gens first. So usually by the time you're done doing your first chase, there's either two or three gens completely done, which only leaves one option, and that is slugging and tunneling. So if they want to implement anti-slug, anti-tunnel features, anti-camping features, which there already is an anti-camping feature, I don't know why they're really worrying about that, but if they want to implement those, in my opinion, they need to give older killers a buff. Basically M1 killers, so Trapper, Doctor, Wraith, Hag. Um, I would consider Ghostface to be an M1 killer, kind of the same as Michael. Um, Michael is getting a rework too, by the way. Hopefully they don't destroy him. It'd be nice if they changed his model up a little bit because his model is very it looks like Play-Doh. Although Michael and Ghostface technically aren't M1 killers, they do rely heavily off of the M1 ability, and because of that, they tend to be on the much weaker side. And in most killer tier lists, Ghostface is usually a D or a C tier killer at most, as well as Myers. So, yeah, hopefully they implement that well. And let me see here. They apparently are going to be adding quality of life focus March release. I'm not quite sure what that is. It's pretty ambiguous. They do also plan on reworking the MMR system as well as new prestige rewards. Now that I am actually quite excited for because as of right now, there really is no reason to prestige past like level 7 or 8 because that's where the rewards end. And they're also adding perk previews in matches. Now, they did clarify in game that perk previews are only available when the match is actually started, so that way, bully squads can't exist really outside of a survive with friends, which fair, killers don't want to be going against bully squads 24/7. Once every once in a while isn't that bad, especially if they're not that coordinated. But yeah, they're also apparently going to be using the Phase 1 time, or the Phase 1 postpone of the PTB to polish the upcoming original chapter as well. Honestly, I don't really know what to think of it, because I really don't understand why they're still trying to push this whole slugging, tunneling, and camping update, because, as I just said, there are so many killers who are already extremely weak just because when they actually M1 a survivor, they can't catch up. I would say at the top of the M1 killers, it would be probably Myers and Ghostface, just because of the fact that they can actually stalk their victims and get a instant KO with a single hit. But even then, it takes forever, especially more on Myers. Even if you use his stealth speed, or not stealth speed, stock speed add-ons, it still takes quite a while to build up that stock, and that's assuming more than one survivor is even nearby. I really hope they somehow buff these killers. My immediate thought would be to make it so every time a killer like Trapper, for instance, every time he smacks a survivor after he gets done with the weapon like clean animation, he gets like a, I don't know, like a 3 to 5% haste boost for 2 or 3 seconds, right? It's not enough to be overpowered, but it is enough to allow the killer to catch up to the survivors. That would probably be the easiest thing to do. Wraith, he probably wouldn't need too much of a haste buff because he does have a lot of haste add-ons, so maybe like a 2 or 3% boost every time he hits a survivor would work. The Hag, just overall, she needs. There's still a bug where when she places her traps, it kind of like animation locks near the end, but she overall is one of the slowest killers in the game, and they really need to give her some type of movement speed buff because she is, unless the survivors are stupid and actively set off your traps constantly, you're almost never going to win, especially against a Swift. Swifts are coordinated and they know where all your traps are pretty much at all times. Same thing goes with Trapper. In the end, I honestly don't know if I'll believe basically anything they're doing here, because Behavior has a reputation of fixing one thing and breaking 5 other things. And honestly, that's really about it. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. I personally find the whole gym badge to be really funny because it's kind of a self-own if you know the story behind it. And as for all of these supposed updates coming within the next few months, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully they don't destroy the shape or Michael. And by the way, there are still many killers who need reworks, such as the Houndmaster and the Twins, because the Houndmaster is entirely dependent on her Hound. Like, it's pretty much just all RNG with her, and whether or not the dog actually gets the victim or the survivor. And the Twins, they just suck overall. So hopefully they get their crap together and actually think about making the game a bit more balanced for everybody and not just survivors. Because if they mess up this slugging, tunneling, and camping update, I would say over 80% of the killer roster would pretty much become invalidated almost immediately. especially with these new perks that came with the Walking Dead chapter. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one, friends. Bye bye.